Tech for Senior, episode 71, August the 2nd, 2021. So, Hewie, 71 episodes.
71 weeks in a row.
Yes,
who would have thunk it way back in the beginning?
We didn't even stop for Christmas, didn't stop for Thanksgiving. We kept going, right? Well, Bob and Ed, we all, the whole team did, right? It's not just you and I, it's the whole team kept going, which is, yeah, pretty cool. So welcome everyone. As I've said before many times, we enjoy thank you so much for coming. We certainly feed off your enthusiasm. For those of you who are over on our YouTube channel, welcome as well. The show is an hour-long show. We will be, of course, stopping the YouTube broadcast at about 10 minutes to the hour just before Ray's music segment. However, if you are on YouTube and you want to participate in the Q&A, please come back over and you can certainly join us. We also have at 10:30, as you know, we have the premiere version that we've recorded. And this week we'll be again playing a premiere version at 10:30. What I've done is I've gone back 1 year. I've identified about 20 minutes worth of information for you, and we'll play that starting at 10:30. It is, of course, recorded, and you can go back and play it. And the goal of this is so that everyone we can reuse the information that we have. And particularly if you have a computer club or you have some organization you're working with, these are clips that are quite usable for that purpose. So please, and we've had good success. We've had 50 or 60 people watch them. And so we hope to use those. You can use those in the future. I'd like to thank Robert Froelich for his generous donation this week in our coffee fund. And we will for sure move ahead now with Hewie. How the heck are you?
You're talking to me, are you?
No, Hewie.
I'm doing great.
Anything up this week?
No, but I would, well, yeah, this is a busy week for me. Let's see, Wednesday night, IMC, the Sarasota Technology User Group. Hang on, I'm going to clear my throat. And this week, we've got somebody talking about home automation. And if you want to join that meeting, you're welcome to. Just drop me a note and I'll send you the link to register for it. It's a registration and it's continuous. So if you've already registered for a Sarasota meeting, you should have received a reminder anyway. And this coming Sunday is the Windows Special Interest Group that I run every month. And I am going to spend the whole meeting showing Windows 11 and playing with different pieces and parts of it and so on. So I invite everybody to join and ask questions, and we'll try different things and see if they work and see what we can find out.
Great. That sounds really interesting. I'll be there. Bob, did you get your stove yet?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for them. They'll probably call me during the show to let me know when they're coming to do the install, just like they did on our Thursday show.
All right. And where is Dewey? Dewey.
I'm right here.
So listen, when are we getting the steaks and the barbecue video? I'm anxious to compare to that great roast I was telling you about I did yesterday.
Well, I'm working on it. I have it planned for a week from today, but I don't know. I have some concerns, but I think I'll just leave it at that. I want to make a good report.
Good report. Well, you know, it would be nice if you had everyone over and we could all test the steaks and see if they how they turned out, right?
That would be a delightful idea.
And Ray, I hear it's raining up in your neck of the woods.
Well, we've had a fair amount of rain since the big fire, which is great. We love that. It keeps the ground wet. Right now, it's pretty nice out, and I don't think there's any forecast for rain today, so that's fine too.
All right. Bill, how did you go away? Where the heck did Bill go? He signed off?
No, he's just in. Oh, here he is.
I'm here.
Where did you go? I was just saying, did you get any gadgets this week?
No new gadgets.
I
I'm kind of sad.
well, I did.
Oh,
And I made a video about it. So I want you guys to watch this video. And Bill, I might even mention you in the video. So I did make a video for you guys. So let's just share this and we'll share the screen. This is Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Today's talk on gadgets. This video was produced today with my new DJI Pocket 2 camera, starring Ron Brown, myself, and filmed by Steve Jordan with Ron's new DJI Pocket 2 camera. Now, the Jordans are our first company since the COVID restrictions have been relaxed. They are our in-laws, but we call them outlaws because they live in Williams Lake in northern British Columbia, where we often visit them to golf. Now, we'd like to make a statement saying that there were no animals hurt in making this video, but some alcohol was consumed. Many of you know that I've made a very popular video called Saving Your Life with Wearable Technology. This video is going to be called Saving Your Life with Wearable Air Conditioning. Now, for those of you who want more information about this device, you can go to our very famous Facebook page called Tech for Senior. You scroll down and you will see an article posted called The 11 Best Wearable Air Conditioners for 2021. There, all the units will be listed with the price and availability. Now, notable mention in this video are Bill James, Hewie Poplock, and Bob Gostisha, who don't have one of these devices and are green with envy. In preparation for the Jordans' arrival, I had to cut the grass. And oh, I kept cool with my portable wearable air conditioner. Even watering the plants was made easy by the 3-speed fan. We had to take a trip to the New Tradition pub, which is 1 block from my house. This was to see if drinking beer would be better with this cool technology, and I can confirm it was. This was again confirmed at our traditional crab dinner that evening. This production was done by Back-End Technology, Ron Brown, and Steve Jordan. There you go.
wow.
That stinks.
I am green with envy.
There you go. I told you.
Oh, wow.
There you go. That was my gadget of the week, is my portable air conditioner. Mm-hmm.
From Amazon?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course. In fact, I ordered it and they said it was going to be 10 days to be delivered, and they delivered it within 48 hours, 24 hours. Maybe it was next day delivery. So it worked out well.
And Ron, how do they actually work? Is
Fan,
it just a fan that blows on you?
3-speed fan. Yeah. And the only difference in the models really is the power of the battery and the fan. So the more expensive ones have more powerful batteries. This one, I ran it for 2 hours continuously, and it still is fine. And they all have a USB connection to a Type-C adapter, which of course you can plug any battery into it, right? So if you have I got a couple of really strong batteries. So if we were going away for 3 or 4 hours at a parade or something, you could just plug it in and it would go forever.
What is the noise level like?
It's not bad. Now, if you had hearing aids, I don't think it's going to work. All right. Because I think the hearing aids would drive you nuts if you had hearing aids. It wouldn't work, but the noise level isn't that bad. Bob, are you ready to go?
Soon as you say it's time to start.
It's 9:10. It's time. Yes, it's time to go.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending July 30th, 2021. Clubhouse is now open to everyone. Social media app Clubhouse, for which member invitations were highly coveted throughout the pandemic, has ditched its invite-only exclusivity with a general release last week that makes the platform available to all users. After launching in the spring, invitations to the free audio-only app were so in demand that some sold for hundreds of dollars on eBay. But without the cloak of mystery, the platform seems to have lost its luster in the eyes of users. In the 5 days following its release, Clubhouse installs increased only about 17%, with most of the new membership coming from outside the United States. According to Wired, a spokesperson for Clubhouse pointed to its international growth as proof that users still enjoy the app. Globally, we've seen the number of rooms created daily rise from 300,000 in May to 400,000 in June and 500,000 in July, which indicates a growing number of engaged users, the spokesperson wrote. Avast evangelist Luis Carones reminds users that we pay for free social media sites with our privacy. At the same time this has been happening, he said, a database containing 3.8 billion phone numbers of Clubhouse users went up for sale on the dark web. Remember, when you register for Clubhouse, it asks you to grant access to your phone book, and it uploads all your contact info. This was a bad idea, and now we see the consequences. Clubhouse also faces more competition than it did before, with Facebook and Twitter releasing similar features and Discord widening its user base beyond gamers. Google Play Protect fails Android security test again. Google Play Protect, the Android built-in malware defense system, has failed the real-world test of antivirus testing lab AV-Test after detecting just over 2/3 out of the more than 20,000 malicious apps it was pitted against. Google's Android mobile threat protection, which automatically scans over 100 billion apps every day, was introduced during the Google I/O 2017 in May of 2017, with rollout to all Android devices starting in July of 2017. Since then, Google Play Protect has been deployed to billions of devices. It is now the built-in malware protection on over 2.5 billion active Android devices. According to the AV-Test results, Google's mobile threat detection solutions ranks last out of 15 Android security apps tested over a span of 6 months, between January to June of 2021. While always running and scanning every app installed and launched on the device, the endurance test revealed that this service does not provide particularly good security. Every other security app offers better protection than Google's Play Protect. On a side note, Avast Mobile Security is what protects my Android devices. COVID cert vaccine check service halted after data leak. This week, Northern Ireland's Department of Health has temporarily suspended their COVID cert online vaccination certification service after a data incident. The government body said that a limited number of users were potentially exposed to data of other users, causing them to temporarily halt the service. COVID cert enables fully vaccinated individuals based in Northern Ireland to obtain a digital certificate confirming their COVID-19 vaccination status. What this points out is that the more of these certificates or passports the governments mandate, the more breach vectors are available to the dark side. These types of documents should only be mandated when necessary. Google unveils new Bug Hunters platform. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of its Vulnerability Rewards program, Google has launched Google Bug Hunters, a new bug bounty platform that brings together Google's various VRPs, Google, Android, Abuse, Chrome, and Play, and provides a single intake form for bug hunters, making the process simpler than it was before. The new site has a sleeker look and offers more features, including gamification, which encourages interaction and competition with per-country leaderboards. Since its inception, the program has led to 11,055 bugs found, 2022 researchers rewarded, and nearly 30 million paid out. For more on this story, see ZDNet. Pegasus Project finds widespread use of spyware. Amnesty International claims that the Pegasus Project, a collaborative investigation into Pegasus spyware, found evidence of widespread, persistent, and ongoing unlawful surveillance and human rights abuses perpetrated using NSO Group's Pegasus spyware. In the introduction to the forensic methodology report prepared by Amnesty International's Security Lab, the researcher states NSO Group claims that its Pegasus spyware is only used to investigate terrorism and crime and leaves no traces whatsoever. This forensic methodology reports show that neither of these statements are true. For more, see Wired. Attackers increase use of exotic programming languages. BlackBerry researchers have identified a growing trend in 2021 to the use of uncommon programming languages by malware authors to evade detection and hinder analysis. In a new BlackBerry white paper, the researchers explore the trend and its potential impact by looking closer at 4 uncommon languages of interest: Go, D, Nim, and Rust, all of which have been observed being increasingly used with malicious intent. Malware authors are known for their ability to adapt and modify their skills and behaviors to take advantage of newer technologies, said VP of Threat Research at BlackBerry, Eric Millen. It is critical that industry and customers understand and keep tabs on these trends, as they are only going to increase. Only 2.3% of Twitter users enable two-factor authentication. According to Twitter's transparency report released this month, only 2.3% of the social media platform's user base enabled two-factor authentication, the security measure that requires a second verification step before letting someone into their account. Twitter offers 3 types of two-factor authentication: sending a unique code to the phone number linked to the account, using a mobile app to generate a unique code, and using a security key. Of these, the SMS method is the least secure since it is susceptible to SIM hijacking and phishing attacks. Yet almost 80% of the Twitter users who employ two-factor authentication use this method. For more, see Security Week. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks. Thanks very much. That was great. Hewie, just before we get started with your Starlink report, I've got a couple of minutes, and I forgot to do this in my segment. There were 3 news articles I wanted just to quickly mention, and I'm going to take just 2 minutes to mention these. Those of you who are, of course, on our Facebook channel would have seen these because these are news articles that came out this morning. The first one is you should be aware that in Europe, they are testing out YouTube Premium Lite. So this is a new feature that they're going to be starting. You may be hearing about this. It came out this morning. YouTube Premium, of course, is $10 or $12 a month. I forget how much I pay, which eliminates ads on YouTube. And a lot of us subscribe to that service. Well, they're going to be bringing out YouTube Lite, which is possibly half that price, and will get rid of the ads. It won't have some of the other features on it, but it will do the same job of removing the ads at half the price. So that's a new feature coming out. The second one announced today was a class action suit finishing with Zoom. Now, Zoom, I don't know if you saw this, Bob, but with Zoom USA, they're agreed to a class action suit, which really was about the early stages of Zoom and some of these security issues. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because it's likely everyone will get $25 back. So you may be getting an email or some sort of communication with your Zoom account. This would, of course, be if you had a paid account, and it looks as though they're agreed to give everyone $25 back. So if you are getting communication from Zoom, you may want to keep a lookout for that, because you might get some money back. And the third thing was, I wanted just to quickly mention the Acer Spin 713, which I've mentioned again. And the reviews have just come out again with this machine, and it looks like it will be Chromebook of the Year this year, not just last year. So this was Chromebook of the Year last year, and it looks like it will be Chromebook of the Year this year. Robbie Payne from Chrome Unboxed just reviewed it, and it's a great machine. The reason I'm mentioning this to you is because there are two versions of this machine. Of course, there's the 2000 and the 2021. Costco has it on sale for $200 off, and I'm not sure which version it is. I just wanted to let everybody know that there are going to be two versions of the Spin 713, so that you're aware of that. All right, Hewie, go ahead with your Starlink report.
All right. Whoop. The Starlink report. This is the Starlink report, August 2nd, 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to sign up for notifications. SpaceX is gearing up for at least 2 Starlink launches this month, beginning with a Falcon 9 mission departing from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California no earlier than August 10th, multiple sources said. Another Falcon 9 launch is scheduled to carry a batch of Starlink satellites into orbit in mid-August. They will be the first SpaceX launches since June 30th, an unusually long gap in the company's jam-packed launch schedule. SpaceX launched 20 Falcon 9 missions in the first half of the year, mostly for the company's own Starlink program. The most recent Falcon 9 mission to carry a full load of Starlink satellites occurred May 26th. Since then, SpaceX has activated hundreds of Internet spacecraft delivered to orbit on previous Falcon 9 missions, raising the number of operational Starlink craft from roughly 950 satellites to more than 1,300, according to an analyst by Jonathan McDowell, an astronomer at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics and a widely respected tracker of spaceflight activity. More than 200 additional Starlink satellites are drifting into their operational positions in orbit 341 miles, or 550 kilometers above the Earth at an inclination of 53 degrees to the equator. SpaceX has regulatory approval from the Federal Communications Commission to eventually launch and operate up to 12,000 Internet relay satellites. The early phases of SpaceX's Starlink network involves the launch of 4,408 satellites into 5 orbital shells or layers in low Earth orbit. SpaceX has launched 1,740 Starlink satellites to date, including prototypes already retired, more than all other commercial satellite fleets combined. Most of the satellites have launched into a 53-degree inclination orbit, the first of 5 orbital shells. The company plans to complete full deployment of the Starlink network. With that shell on the verge of having more than 1,500 active satellites, SpaceX is transitioning to a new phase of the Starlink program. The completion of the first Starlink shell will enable the network to provide high-speed, low-latency internet services to lower latitudes, such as the southern United States. The partial deployment of satellites into the first orbital shell initially provided service over northern regions of the United States, Canada, and Europe, as well as higher latitude regions in the southern hemisphere. SpaceX's other Starlink layers will include 1,584 satellites at 335 miles or 540 kilometers and at an inclination of 53.2 degrees, 720 satellites at 354 miles or 570 kilometers and an inclination of 70 degrees, and 520 satellites spread into two shells at 348 miles, 560 kilometers, and an inclination of 97.6 degrees. The Starlink mission set for liftoff from Vandenberg this month, designated Starlink 2-1, will begin populating a new orbital shell. More Starlink missions will follow the launches in mid-August. SpaceX is expected to launch an average of one Starlink mission per month from Vandenberg over the next year, and there will be regular cadence of Starlink flights from Cape Canaveral too. In January, Musk said SpaceX would introduce laser inter-satellite links to all Starlink spacecraft beginning in 2022. Starlink satellites heading into polar orbit this year would have the upgrade, he's tweeted. SpaceX launched 10 Starlink satellites into a 97.6-degree polar orbit on a rideshare mission in January. Another 3 Starlink payloads launched into a similar orbit in June on a subsequent rideshare flight. Those satellites featured laser inter-satellite links, which allow the spacecraft to pass data and internet traffic between each other without routing it through a ground station. The upgrade will allow SpaceX to provide the internet connectivity near the poles and in other regions without ground stations. A report from aerospace engineer Michael Volley says that SpaceX's Starlink initial broadband by satellite low Earth orbiting constellation is almost completely deployed in space. Volley said that the Starlink system has just to fill 4 remaining orbital planes, commented the satellites destined for those planes are currently heading to them. Everything will have been launched and raised in under 22 months. He adds, a few orbit planes need several more sats, and several more need 1 or 2, but those sats are in space too. Volley's data shows that the orbits numbered 18, 34, and 60 still need filling, with some satellites out of total constellation of 72 orbital planes. Starlink's failure rate, albeit in the early stage of their launches, was running at 3%, although more recently failures are 1% or below. And that's it. The Starlink Report. I'm Hewie Poplock. And there we go.
So that's cool. So Hewie, does that mean that there are, like, if he has to fill in those spots, the satellites are still up there? Like he's got redundant satellites and he'll just move them over?
They put the satellites up and then it takes them a while to get into place.
Okay.
And that's what's happening now, that they're all up there for that first plane, and they're working themselves into place, and it takes a couple of months for them to get there.
So the question is, when can Bob get hooked up?
Could be soon. Sounds like.
We got it right. All right, let's see what Hewie has for us today. Let me just share my screen. Where's my mouse here? I'll just do a share.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is, do sleep trackers really work? My topic is the title of an article I read this past week in hopkinsmedicine.org, the website of Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. For what it's worth, my wife Joanne wears a 3-year-old Fitbit Alta HR, an activity tracker that also tracks her sleep. Millions of wrists now sport devices that monitor everything from heart rate by tracking pulse to blood oxygen saturation with an onboard pulse oximeter. And the newest trackers are able to do a relatively respectable ECG, electrocardiogram. Sleep tracker features vary, but common capabilities include sleep duration. By tracking the time you're active, sleep trackers record when you fall asleep and wake up. Sleep quality. Trackers can detect activity in your sleep, like when you're tossing and turning or waking up. Environmental factors. Some devices record environmental factors like the amount of light or the temperature in your bedroom. There's lifestyle factors. Some trackers prompt you to enter information about activities that can affect your sleep, such as how much caffeine you've had, when you've eaten, and other pre-sleep activities. So what does a typical sleep cycle look like? Well, stage 1 lasts only a few minutes and the sleep is shallow. Stage 2, brain waves begin to slow. Stages 3 and 4, you move into a deeper sleep that's harder to wake from. It's the time when your body repairs itself and boosts your immune system. Rapid eye movement is another one. That's, you know about REM. It's during this final stage in the sleep cycle, your brain becomes more active and dreams occur. Your brain is processing information and storing long-term memories. This cycle repeats every 90 to 110 minutes. And as sleep progresses, REM cycles increase in length. I never knew this until I read it in this Johns Hopkins article. One thing sleep trackers don't do is measure sleep directly, according to Dr. Alan Schwartz, director of a sleep disorders center at Johns Hopkins. Instead, they typically measure inactivity to guesstimate how much you're actually sleeping. But for exact data, a medical sleep study is necessary. Sleep studies monitor your brain waves to accurately analyze your sleep cycle. This process, which is called polysomnography, is the most reliable method for diagnosing conditions like sleep apnea and other sleep disorders. Still, tracking devices can definitely be useful for helping people recognize patterns in their sleep habits, especially when they aren't sleeping well. For example, do you feel sluggish when you sleep from 10 to 6, but a little more energetic when you change your schedule to an 11 to 7 sleep? Do you sleep better when your bedroom is cooler on days when you exercise? Is your sleep disrupted if you have caffeine after the mid-afternoon? Sleep trackers can give you user-friendly information or reports that make it easy to spot trends. Until about 2 years ago, I left out the word years. Until about 2 years ago, sleep trackers relied permanently on pulse, heart rate readings for their sleep data. The oximeter breakthrough gave trackers the added function to measure blood oxygen saturation. You've likely experienced an oximeter test in your doctor's office. It's when a small clip is placed on your finger, and it's often while your blood pressure is being taken. Sleep tracker oximeters use red and infrared light sensors to detect oxygen levels, sensing changes in the levels by looking at the color of blood. Lower right is a tracker's app readout. By the way, a little side note here. Remember that word infrared, because I'm planning to do a tech talk on infrared barbecue grill technology next Monday. I know that Dr. Ron Brown will really enjoy that. A blood oxygen level greater than 95% is normal and good. Below 92%, there's need to find out why, especially if it occurs during sleep, indicating that the cause may be obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, and thus the need to visit a sleep specialist. In 2013, my wife Joanne told my cardiologist that she strongly believed I have obstructive sleep apnea, OSA. Though I angrily denied it, I was angry with her, but I agreed to see a sleep specialist. I was quickly diagnosed with OSA. And since then, I've faithfully used the CPAP machine nightly, and I have to say my heart health has hugely improved in these 8 years. Most doctors agree that the relationship between low blood oxygen levels and OSA, obstructive sleep apnea, alone is a good reason to wear a sleep tracker with an oximeter function. OSA is a disorder which, left untreated or undetected, could lead to increased high blood pressure, obesity, weakening of heart function, a heart attack, and even a stroke. I guess I'll never know if my May 3rd stroke may have been caused by an apnea event, which is a pause in breathing while sleeping lasting 10 or more seconds. That's the definition of an apnea. Estimates vary on the percentage of seniors over age 65 who have OSA, though some estimates run as high as 70% for men. A significantly lesser percentage of women have OSA. Knowing blood oxygen saturation levels can also be valuable information for people suffering from conditions that include asthma, pneumonia, heart failure, and lung cancer. I'll now show you two of the top models of sleep trackers that include a blood oximeter function working in concert with a smartphone app. Apple's Watch Series 6 and Series 6 only trackers start at $399, and they seem to be setting the standard for other trackers. At minimum, they have sensors for heart rate, a blood oxygen saturation oximeter, and ECG electrocardiogram function. The Apple Watch blood oxygen sensor is made up of 4 LED clusters and 4 photodiodes on the bottom of the watch, and it works intermittently during the day when light conditions allow. It does work much better at night, and a special Apple Health app records its many frequent readings. In fact, all Apple's Series 6 watch tracker functions work with individual function apps that are a part of Apple's Health app, a huge app. Each app needs to first be properly set up to perform as seen here. The blood oximeter app is shown at the right. Isn't that kind of neat? Shows results of blood oxygen at 98%. The ECG function on Apple's Series 6 watches was a momentous achievement for a wearable device. It has provided incentive for other tracker brands like Fitbit, Garmin, Samsung, Huawei, Withings, and so forth to compete even more seriously with their ECG apps. Nevertheless, and here's the disclaimer, Dr. Ron Brown, nevertheless, we need to remember that these now very smart wearables are designed for consumers and are not FDA-approved medical devices. If you own an Android phone, your best choice for a full-featured alternative to Apple's Series 6 watch is, in my opinion, the Fitbit Sense at $298. That's almost it's over $100 cheaper. For extraordinary sleep tracking and the best battery life, the Fitbit Sense is a great choice. The Sense has a slew of sensors, which include heart rate, blood oxygen, FDA-cleared ECG, that's what it said, stress and temperature sensors. It has fitness at its core and strives to be your daily wellness coach through its premium app, which isn't free, by the way. This is the Fitbit Sense. Looks like this. You'll recall, and it has many, many, many different faces. You'll recall that my Tech Talk topic for today asks the question, do sleep trackers really work? I think it's safe to say that the answer is a resounding yes. In fact, when I finished this Tech Talk Sunday afternoon, I was so fired up that I ordered a Fitbit Sense. It'll arrive tomorrow, and I'm really pumped, though I've got to talk Joanne into it a little bit. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm certainly sticking with it, and I'm buying it hook, line, and sinker for that matter. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and the good Lord willing, we'll see you next week.
Well done. Well done, Dewey. By the way, that's the watch that I own, of course. And I made a video, about 3 or 4 months ago. I guess maybe a little bit longer, called The Misunderstood Fitbit Sense. I think it's climbed now to just under 60,000 people have looked at the video. So if you are considering it, you might want to look at that. So if you need any help setting it up or you want to know anything about it, Dewey, I have one. I've been using it for 6 months. I do like it. I like your review. I think the review was excellent. I agree with all the things that you said. It was
Might
great.
mention that they're constantly updating the Fitbit Sense. In fact, the latest thing is they're now experimenting with some technology that will allow a blood pressure reading.
Right,
with it.
right.
I don't think mine contains.
That's right. All right, Dewey, or Hewie, sorry, Hewie, you have we got to get going on your presentation.
Google's helpful Drive for Desktop is new in July of 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and to ask for notifications when we post new videos. Earlier this year, Google announced that they were working towards unifying backup and sync and Drive files stream into a single sync client called Drive for Desktop. By doing this, they are creating a powerful and unified sync client with the best and most used features from both backup and sync and Drive file system. These are words from Google. Google Workspace customers with backup and sync users would need to transition these users to Drive for Desktop. Here's the timeline for this transition. It started July 19th. Backup and Sync will support a guided flow to help users transition onto Drive for Desktop. Starting August 18th, any user still on Backup and Sync will start to receive in-product notifications prompting them to transition to Drive for Desktop. Starting October 1st, any user still on Backup and Sync after that point will no longer be able to sign into Backup and Sync. To continue syncing with Drive and or Google Photos, users will need to transition to Drive for Desktop. What it means to sync files and how it works. You can use Drive for Desktop to keep your files in sync between the cloud and your computer. Syncing is the process of downloading files from the cloud and uploading files from your computer's hard drive. After syncing, the files on your computer match the files in the cloud. If you edit, delete, or move a file in one location, the same change happens on the other location. That way, your files are always up to date and can be accessed from any device. What it means to mirror or stream your files. With Drive for Desktop, you can access files stored in Google Drive from your computer. Any changes you make to your files will be synced. All files in shared drives, USBs, and other computers will be streamed from the cloud to your computer. You can choose to mirror or stream your My Drive files. In Drive for Desktop, you can choose to stream or mirror My Drive files, as I just said. Your files are found in different places on your computer based on whether you choose to mirror or stream them. When you mirror files, all of My Drive files are stored in the cloud and on your computer, which takes up hard drive space. All your files will be accessible at any time, even when you don't have an internet connection or the Drive for Desktop app running. Files can be accessed through a folder on your computer. When you stream files, your My Drive files are stored in the cloud. Hard drive space is only used when you open files and make them available offline. Files that are not available offline can be only accessed when you're connected to the internet. All files, including those available offline, can be accessed only when the app is running. Files can be accessed through a mounted drive on your computer. Google Drive for Desktop app. 4 reasons why you should install it. Once installed, the Google Drive for Desktop app delivers 4 key features for people who use Windows or Mac OS devices. First, it lets you access Google Drive from your local system, i.e. either Apple's Finder on Mac OS or Microsoft's File Explorer on Windows, without the need to open a web browser. Second, it allows you to select and sync files and folders between your device and Google Drive. Third, Drive for Desktop also offers the ability to back up photos, including screenshots and raw photos, to Google Photos. Fourth, you may now sign into as many as 4 different Google accounts at once, which gives you access to files and distinct configuration options for each account. Known issues. You can't currently duplicate Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Drive for Desktop currently doesn't support ARM-based Windows laptops and tablets, including the Microsoft Surface Pro X. Drive for Desktop is currently not compatible with Digital Guardian software, antivirus software. Certain virus detection and security software can interfere with the operation of Drive for Desktop. Syncing a folder with both Google Drive for Desktop and another syncing service may cause files to fail to sync with Google Drive or to be removed from Google Drive entirely. Pop-ups. Some users on Drive for Desktop version 41 and prior may report seeing repeated pop-ups to sign in. To access it, it is an icon in your tray. If you right mouse click it, you get some preferences, an error list. You can pause the syncing, and there's some other information, or you can quit. Here are your preferences on Google Drive. You can set it up. My drive syncing options. Stream uses less hard drive space. Use only hard drive space when you open files or make files available offline. That's how I have it set up for stream files. I store all my drive files in the cloud only. And then I choose specific files and folders to make them available offline. And if I decided I would rather mirror the files, I would store all my drive files in the cloud and on my computer. And all files are automatically available offline. Here's what it looks like on my computer. Google Drive is set up as a Google Drive G. When I open the Drive G, it shows my drive, and when I double click on my drive, I get all of my folders, and you'll notice there's a little cloud next to them, meaning that it's out in the cloud, not local. So let's get to a demo. I have opened up this PC so you can see all of the drives that I have on the system. Currently, we have a local drive C. We have an SD card in my computer, which is drive D. I've added a USB stick, and it designated it as drive E. And then by default, when I installed Drive for Windows, it created a Google Drive and gave it the letter G for Google, which is a good idea. And it fills in the drive letters before it, and if I added more drives, they would come after the letter G, and I believe you can change easily the drive letter for Google Drive if you needed to. So you can see here, all of my drive items are here. My OneDrive, let's make that a little bit smaller so you can see everything. First, we've got our quick access, and I do have Google Drive on the quick access, so it goes to the top. It's also down here, same drive. And you can see the other drives that are here as well. If we double click on it, it'll open up the Google Drive, and it holds my drive. And if I double click my drive, it shows me all of the folders that are on my drive. And you'll notice that there are little clouds on each of the folders, meaning that it is only in the cloud. It is not on my local machine. We're going to open a second instance of this PC, and you'll see that it was just like this one was before we went down to the letter G and then my drive and then the folders in my drive. Now on the right, what I'd like to do is open up my USB stick. So I am going to go to a folder to show you how easily you can move a folder or groups of files and folders. Let's take the views and reviews folder, and I am just going to drag it from one side to the other. Now, remember the default when you're going from one drive to another drive is you're copying the files. If you click and drag on the same drive, you actually move them. You can right mouse click and choose. And I'm going to do that just so you can see how you do that. I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to drag that over here and I'm going to let go. And you will see it says copy here in bold. That means that's the default. I could move it here. I could create a shortcut or I could just cancel. I like to, when I either copy or move something, I do like to right mouse click and drag it. In case I put it in the wrong spot, I can cancel it. But in this case, we're going to tell it to go ahead and copy it. And now watch. You can see that it's taking some time. It's a total of 185 items. It's moving it from my drive to my USB stick, which is the drive E. It's created the folder now. It's 51% complete. You're seeing this real time. I didn't want to speed it up. I want you to have an idea. And we're going to look at the size of that folder when we're done. I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's complete. Now, I have a very fast computer, so it might not be that fast on your computer. Now, just for the sake of things, let's go ahead. If I right mouse click and then go down to properties, it's a total of 20, size on the disk is over 20 megabytes. It's 163 files in 21 folders. I cancel this so we see. Now, if I double click on views and reviews, I've got a few folders and I got a whole bunch of files. If I then click on here, I've got subfolders. And if I click on another one, I've got yet another subfolder. So we can move up, we can move up. And so again, we've got 3 folders. We've got a whole bunch of files here. When I say a whole bunch of files, we've got a whole bunch of files. I have now copied those files over to my USB stick, which I can then eject and I can put it on any computer or I can carry it with me. And that's what Chris and Edith were trying to do. And I tried to help them earlier with an earlier video, but it looks like it's a lot easier now using Drive for Windows. It just, you can pick and choose whatever you want. So if I just want to add one file to this, let's say, let's move up one level. And let's say we just want to take one file here. So let's go to a background here. This is the background I use on my Chromebook. I am going to click and drag it over here. It copies it and it's there. So I can move one file. I can move a whole folder with subfolders and subfolders and files within it very easily using Drive for Windows. When I was putting this presentation together, someone asked about Drive for Windows and Google Photos. So let's talk about that. How about adding photos and videos from Google Drive to Google Photos? To organize your photos and videos across services, you can add photos from Google Drive to Google Photos. But before you get started, the photo must be larger than 256 pixels. The file type must be a JPEG, a GIF, a WEBP, a TIFF, or a .RAW. If you use a Google account through your work or school, you'll have to download from Google Drive and re-upload to Google Photos. This also is true in my case, where my Google Drive that I use for most of my files is a different account than my Google Photos. So In those cases, you have to download from Google Drive, then re-upload to Google Photos. However, to add photos and videos from Google Drive to Google Photos on your computer, you go to photos.google.com. I'm going to demonstrate this when I finish these couple of slides. At the top right, click Upload and then Google Drive. Find and select your photos and click Upload. Check your storage. Your photos and videos are stored using your Google account's storage space. Items copied from Google Drive to Google Photos are backed up based on your upload size. If you copy an item from Google Drive to Google Photos, the new copy in Google Photos will also count against your storage. Learn how to change your upload size. So what happens when you change or delete a photo? Any changes you make in Drive will only apply to Drive. Any changes you make in Photos will only apply to Photos. Let's do a demo. Next, what we're going to do is add some photos from Google Drive to Google Photos. We've opened up photos.google.com, so we're in our Google Photos website. You'll notice over here on the right, you go to Upload. You click it, and you have the choice of either a computer or Google Drive. We're going to choose Google Drive. It shows the recent files, but we want to go to My Drive. And in My Drive, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Photos. And I've got a folder with some photos I want to upload, and that's here. I have 3 photos. So I will highlight all 3 of them, come down here and click Upload. It's uploading all 3. It's now put them on our Google Photos. It has today's date, but it has all 3 of those photos, and they're there. And that's how easy it is now to upload from Google Drive to your Google Photos. You do have those photos saved on your Google Photos. This has been Google's helpful Drive for Desktop, which is new in July of 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great, Hewie. That was really good. I know there'll be questions which we'll deal with in the question and answer. Ray, are you ready to go? I'm going to say goodbye to our YouTube group. If you want to come over to our Zoom meeting and do some Q&A, we have lots of room for you. Ray, I'll let you get started.
Thank you, sir. Just host disabled participant screen sharing. So.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry, I should. I didn't make you co-host. There we go. You should be
Let me try it now. Here we go.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. Get rid of all this stuff. And here we go with. All right, today my topic is the orange and the green. Now, I previously mentioned that I was adopted, so you can imagine only as an adult, after meeting my birth parents and their families, did I begin to learn more about my heritage. Now, the one interesting fact that I took note of early on was on my paternal side, my grandfather Sam, who was Protestant and from Northern Ireland, while my grandmother Susan was Catholic and from Ireland. And there's a picture of them. They met after they both emigrated to America, and they married back in 1923, settling in the Hell's Kitchen section of Manhattan. Now, they went on to have 6 children, but sadly, Susan died at the young age of 37. Now, Sam, to his credit, raised his children as Catholic, since he knew that's what Susan would have wanted. Now, when learning of this family history, I assumed in those days it was not common for marriages among different faiths to have taken place, considering the important question of how to raise the eventual children that would come along. But once again, I was mistaken, as apparently this situation for the Irish occurred often enough that a song was written about it, titled The Orange and the Green, and the song is also known as The Biggest Mix-Up. And it's a humorous Irish folk song about a boy who has a Protestant father, and they use the color orange for King William of Orange, and a Catholic mother, and green for the color associated with Ireland, and how mixed up he has become due to his upbringing. Now, I've been told my birth father would tell all of his friends that this song was written about him. So the clip I'm playing today is by the Irish Rovers. And for the video, I'm choosing to show only the lyrics, as sometimes an Irish brogue can be difficult to understand if you haven't heard the song before. Accordingly, I've included below a second link, and this will be in the newsletter, to a live version from the Irish Rovers performed in 1995. So I hope this gives you some chuckles as it did for me. Maybe even for some of you, you'll be able to relate.
Oh, that's great.
Well, I forgot about the Irish Rovers. I had,
Yeah.
they of course were right in that, when I grew up, I was listening to them all the time, but I forgot about them. That was great. Reminded me of some great memories. Yeah.
As I said, I got a real chuckle out of that, and I wanted to share it with everybody else and see how many might even relate.
Remember, everyone, be sure and watch the Tuesday, or look at the Tuesday newsletter for Ray's part in that, and you'll see the playlist, and you can just click and save that playlist. And of course, this great tune will be on there for you, and you can sit. What do you got? About 3.5, maybe 4 hours of music now. You can just watch continuously. Eh? Pretty cool. Anyway. All right, listen, we are behind time. I want to say goodbye to everybody. Of course, our Q&A will be starting now. I'm sure it was a big meeting today, lots of stuff, lots of new stuff. I'm sure there's lots of questions. So we're going to, you sort of know the routine. If you can come down and click the more button, and you'll see raise your hand, and that will be.
You muted yourself, Ron.
If you have to leave, you can certainly do that. This will be recorded. For those of you who do have to leave, I just want to let you know that the YouTube Premium that will be coming on at half the hour will be, Hewie will be talking about bandwidth and what bandwidth means. And I'll be talking about YouTube time chapters. So those are the two topics that will be on YouTube Premium at 1/2 the hour. We'll run the question and answer now for about 20 minutes till about 20 after 10. And then we'll let everyone have a bit of a break, and then YouTube Premium will start. Bill, go ahead.
Ron, just a slight correction. That's YouTube Premiere.
Yes,
Premium.
right now. YouTube
Premium
Premiere.
you pay for.
Premiere
is
you
free.
pay. This is YouTube Premiere, right? Thanks, Bob. Bill, go ahead.
Yes,
I know what your
thank
question
you.
is. You want to know where to get a portable air conditioner, don't you?
Oh, I found it already. No, I'm more curious about Huey's presentation. I've tried to install Google for Windows, and I don't seem to find it. I don't know if I'm going to the right place or not.
That's one of the things that I asked Hewie. And certainly was a problem I had, is finding the darn thing. And I had to find a blog that was written, and then there was a link, and then I found where you could download it. Hewie, what are they gonna do with this? Are they going to is it going to come out as an automatic upgrade?
They haven't told me, but it looks like it's going to be automatic if you already have backup in sync, or you're going to get messages. So they're going to, I don't know if it's going to be automatic,
Okay,
but you're going to be able,
because I have a backup in sync, but I tried to download that. I looked everywhere for it. I could not find it.
Yeah, I thought it might be in the Windows Store, and it wasn't
No,
there.
it's not.
I had to go to Google, and then I downloaded it from Google.
Bill, I'd be happy to send it to you.
Oh, thank you. That would be great.
But it's really convenient having it right on my a file explorer, like I have
Yeah, I would like that.
OneDrive, and just I can get to those files. I don't have to go to the web each time to grab a file that was on my Chromebook where I saved it, and it saved it out on my Google Drive, and then I'd have to open it up in the web browser and download it, and then move it to where I wanted. This way, bingo. I open up File Explorer. It's there. Make a copy of it wherever I want to work with it, and I'm golden.
I have it on my File Explorer as a folder.
Hmm.
I access it that way, but I don't have it as a drive identified the way you have it.
It's
That's
really
that
convenient.
that yeah, that's the backup and sync. That's the new
Mhm.
feature that will be there. Now it is I've used backup and sync for a long time, and I thought it was a really dumb program. I like the Microsoft one, the OneDrive one, much better. The new Windows that Huey just showed you is an excellent product now, and I use both, and I really like this one. This looks like a winner. I think what's going to happen is you're going to get converted whether you like it or not. By what, September was it, Huey?
Yeah.
I think
One-
it's
one
in
more-
September. Yeah.
One
You're gonna
more
get-
comment. Somebody had asked, how do you share permission for access to a file? I can tell you that the reason that I left the meeting for a couple of minutes is because I went to my Google Drive. I found a file and I was doing a right click to see whether or not there's a function. And as soon as I did the right click, kiss my computer, bye-bye, the whole system crashed. So now I don't know whether it's because I was also doing the Zoom meeting, but I will find out again afterwards. But in any case, that's the reason I was missing for a couple of minutes, because I had to totally reboot to get back in. It locked me up tighter than a drum.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah. George, you have a question
Can you hear me?
or a comment? Yes, I can hear you fine.
So I'm wondering when in Zoom, and we make a comment to all, in the chat, and that pops up on the screen during one of your presentations. Does that get recorded?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't. Okay.
But we shouldn't be doing that, right? Because
What I do is I open up the chat, and of course I've got a second screen, and I've got it open on the second screen so it doesn't pop up on my main screen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
And
you can open it, put it in a corner somewheres, and make it so you're not full screened in Zoom, and have it, and so it doesn't pop up and interfere with the screen.
okay. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bill H, go ahead.
Yes, has there been any new developments on the glucose monitoring from the Samsung?
Yes. Well, all as I can say, we talked about this. Was it on Thursday or was it last week? The sensors, the company that makes the sensor is I think it's Rockland, and they have the. There was a big article about that was I can't remember if I talked about it last week or it was on the Thursday show. Anyway, they have all of it completed. The technology and all the Rockland makes the sensors, makes the sensors for Apple. Okay, and so they have it all done, and it's a matter of Apple taking that information now and putting it in, and whether it will be in the Watch 7 or not is not clear. And it is a big step forward, and it's going to sort of make the Apple Watch more of a medical device than just what it is now. And it's a big step forward. And I guess Apple's got to get all their ducks in a row before they do that. So you will see that. It probably will be. Well, I think the 7's coming out in September, so we're all waiting to see what that's going to be about. But whether or not it comes this year, later, I guess, or early next year, but it will definitely be there. And this will be, and of course, it will be on the Galaxy Watch as well. One of the things that Hewie didn't mention in his talk today, which was an excellent talk, was of course Fitbit and Samsung are changing all their software. In other words, the Fitbit Sense and all the stuff that we're using now, including the Galaxy, will all be changed into Android Wear, which is of course a different system. So all the Fitbit apps and everything we've got to know are all going to be changed to Android Wear. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but that definitely is coming. And that will also probably have to do with blood sugar monitoring as well. So it's coming, it's very close. It's just, it's just be patient. It's coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ron, there was a question in the chat box. How can, from Carl, how can you give access to another person to specific files? Allowing
That's what
FTP due to limits and attachments using mail. I just, when I right mouse clicked it on mine, it gives you several things that you can do. One of them is to assign certain people. I didn't go further. I didn't want to go offline like it happened to Bob. But
Yeah, I don't know what everyone.
I think it will work, and I'm not sure why it didn't for him. But yeah,
I'm
you can
also
give
on
people
11.
access to those files.
I'm also on Windows 11, so I don't know whether that's another
You're on the Windows
possibility.
11
Yeah.
machine.
Maybe.
Mm.
All as I can say from a personal experience, whenever I send a file by Gmail and I have to give access to someone and say they can do it, it always gets messed up. I always send the email, the file goes, I've given the proper permission, and they always send me an email back and say I can't see the file. And then I have to go into Google Drive and I have to redo it a second time, and it mostly often works. I've never figured it out. I don't know why it doesn't work for me. I don't know if anybody's got any ideas on that.
You weren't using this new
No,
drive.
that's true.
So
That's
hopefully
true.
that will have
Maybe
fixed
that's
that.
fixed it. Yeah, but I said it's really annoying when you set the permissions properly and you send someone an email and says, here's your file. And then they have to send it back and say, well, it won't let me access the file. You know, I got that all the time. Dorothy, go ahead.
I found it to always work if you had a Google account. And when the other person didn't have a Google account, that's when the problem occurred.
Well, it wasn't. I even sent Hewie stuff and Hewie would say, I can't access the file. And then I have to go to my drive. I have to go into Google Drive and I go back to the same file and say, okay, look, give Hewie permission to take this file. And then Hewie says, yeah, it works now. It just was a pain in the butt because through the Gmail, it was a hassle. Dorothy, go ahead.
I was going to comment on Dewey's presentation. It was great. I have my second Garmin watch. It's called a Garmin Venue.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on sale right now in Canada or in Victoria. But they have all the things he covered, the oxygen and the heart rates, and it tells you if your body battery is good and your REM sleep and things like that.
Yeah. Do you use the sleep tracker feature on it?
Oh yeah. So when you install the app on your cell phone and then you
Mhm.
just sync it in the morning, it shows your sleep, and it can also track your hydration and.
Yeah. So have you? I personally, I have the Fitbit Sense, the same one Dewey's just buying, and I never was much in tracking my sleep, but I find it sort of interesting. And in fact, every morning I look and see, you know, and try and figure out how I can sleep better, because most seniors have trouble sleeping. So there's always the issue of how can I sleep better, and it's sort of fun to monitor it and see see how you do over the night, right? Do you use that as well?
Yeah, I think it's the trick is going to bed earlier.
I think it's not drinking so much alcohol.
Yeah.
I think it's for
Take
sure.
Take some NyQuil before you go to sleep.
And I also was going to mention about sharing files. We do this all the time in the Victoria Computer Club amongst the executive, or George and I, and we collaborate we can both be online typing when we share the document. So it works really well, but I'm assuming, yes, you do both have to have a Google account.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you.
George, you have a comment?
Well, I'm just glad the Olympics realized that I'm usually awake at 4 a.m. So I can watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's my only comment.
And Bill, you'll probably be our last comment. Do you have a comment or
Marshall's
question?
got his hand up too.
Michael, okay.
Marshall.
Well, Marshall, go ahead.
This is specifically for you, Ron. I routinely give access to people with Google Drive certain files. And how I do that is I go to that file and I get a link I get the link and make it accessible to anybody that has the link. End of problem.
Yeah, you can, and but that's a two-step process. If I'm busy and I'm sending a bunch of files out and I say, gee, I'm going to email, Hewie this file, and I'm in Gmail, it makes it real easy to add that file as a link. And right within Gmail, it allows you to set those permissions.
Right.
All as I'm saying, they don't work, at least not for me, because when I set the permissions, Hewie sends me an email back and says, well, I can't access the file. And so then I have to do what you do, Marshall. I have to go in and change it in Google Drive. That's all I'm saying. It should work out of Gmail.
Okay.
We'll have to
Yes.
check and see if it does.
Yeah. And Dorothy, go ahead. Unmute yourself. You're still muted, Dorothy.
You're muted. Space bar.
Space bar.
There comes the charm.
There you go.
Hewie is here in his blue shirt, and Huey's caricature is down here under the name of Stan Waldner.
Yeah.
Stan's using the account for Central Florida Computer Society, and it defaults with my picture.
Oh, okay.
You just found the great imposter.
Yeah, he's president of CFCS, and he's using that. He signed into that account when he signed into the meeting.
Well,
So
you
it
had
picked up
mentioned
my
that
picture.
earlier, but I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
It's not my twin brother.
Anybody now?
He looks good looking.
Does anyone have a quick question? It's 20 minutes after the 20 minutes after. I'd like to say goodbye and end the show. So I think without further questions, we are going to.
I'd like to make one comment, Ron, to everybody that's still on. It's important to each of us that when you look at any of our videos, whether it be on Bob's YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, the Tech for Senior YouTube channel, which is also Ron's, or Bill, I'm not sure whether you have one or not, but when we post our videos, it really helps if you like a particular video, and if you subscribe to our channel. You don't have to get the notifications if you don't want to, but if you turn that on, it just will have a little shield that will show when you go online that there are messages and that somebody's posted something new. But it really helps us in getting this, getting the videos out there. The more likes and the more subscribers there are, the higher the potential of Google promoting it for us and getting more viewers.
Thanks, Hugh. That's very true. And please, everyone, like and subscribe. It really does help us continue on with our work.
Yeah,
We'll see everybody. We'll see everybody next week, same time, same place. Stay tuned. In about 10 minutes, we'll be as Bob says, the premiere service will be starting at 10:30, and it will be Dewey talking on bandwidth and myself talking on the YouTube time chapters. See everybody next week, same time, same place.
Thanks,
Thursday.
everybody.
Bye now.
On
Bye-bye.
Thursday.
Oh, and Thursday, and we'll see everyone on Thursday as well.
Thursday, yes.
Thursday, yeah. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.